Ladies and gentlemen, I pay respect to all. I'm not a scholar. 40 years of political activist, 2 times in jail. First time, the age of 22 as an engineering student, get 9 years sentence by military code. Second time, after 1988 uprising, 14 years sentence by military code. Now I'm a petty democratic politician. So in my paper, let me have an subjectivity. The name of my paper is Democratizations in Myanmar and Fate of Rakhine. And in paper 3 portions. First portion, Democratizations and 2008 Constitution. Rakhine is an independent kingdom and annexed by Burman feudalists in 1784. After the First Anglo-Burmese War of 1822, Rakhine became under the British rule. After independence, Rakhine became an integral part of Union of Myanmar. After the worst conditions of Cyclone Nargis, 2008 Constitution came to life. Most of the political activists are greatly disappointed because it is actually a hybrid and sham federal constitution. But on the other hand, it is an opportunity for voiceless and political platformless ethnic peoples. Even though election is not free and fair, RNDP won the USDP. Victory of 18 seats out of 34 in state level does not mean majority by adding military quota. Premiers and speakers were appointed from USDP by the president. Thus, RNDP has no right to decide and handle the political and developmental issue of Rakhine State. The right of state parliament to enact the laws are very limited in Schedule 2 and 5 in the Constitution. Health and education are not mentioned in it. State government has no power to build a new school, new hospital. The right of management on cultural heritage are in the hands of central level. Tourism is now banned for Rakhine without logical reason after communal violence. Most analysts concluded that Myanmar is on the right track. Starting the political platform, new government initiated the peace process, and foreign direct investment laws are enacted. Reform of administration starts with an election for village administrators. In Rakhine State, administration is still running with corrupted officials suffering kleptomania, so it is just a tool to manipulate and suppress the grassroots people. Rakhine is very rich in resource. The old and new government harvested billions of dollars by selling natural gas to China. But 24 hours electricity access appears to be a drain. Rakhine remains unindustrialized with 43.5% of population living on the poverty line according to a 2011 survey by UNDP. Illegal loggings of cronies backed by military elite cause deforestation. Rakhine area receives very rich rainfall, but Rakhine farmers can cultivate only 1 crop of rice, and to get clean water is very difficult in rural areas in summer. In Rakhine, fishery zones are divided and fixed by Department of Fishery and auctioned by state government. Local people living nearby creeks and rivers have no right to earn their living freely on the water. RNDP always opposed, and in the end, this policy has been abolished in the state parliament. In Rakhine, forced labor, forced confiscation, forced relocation was very familiar, but now it became less to some extent. Ethnic peoples want to live together peacefully and are calling for practicing federalism. Federalism can guarantee equality, peace and development, can end civil war. Without federalism, sustainable peace cannot be achieved. No peace, no democracy, no development, no democracy. In old days, federalism is a term of political taboo. Now workshops and seminars are being held on federalism in Yangon. The main obstacle is 2008 Constitution. Political reform without constitutional amendment cannot lead to conflict resolution and peaceful solution for ethnic issues. Even though the Constitution is not fine enough, foundation for a new system has been introduced. People can feel the taste of democracy first time. Second question, power sharing, resource sharing and geopolitics. President Wu thinks they always stress national unity, but government has failed to take similar consideration in regard to ethnic issue compared with the steps for economic reforms. In ethnic issues, 3 main factors are power sharing, resource sharing, and enjoying cultural rights. In election, RNDP became majority winner, but cannot get power endorsed by the people. That's the problem of political self-determination. Resource sharing is a great issue. Its If a nationality cannot enjoy any benefit sharing from the resource of their land, it can be considered an exercise of neo-colonialism. Rakhine with great mountains, blue coastal water, rich resource, ancient historical monuments and heritage. Why these regions and how people became poorer and poorer is the question of self-determination on economy. Sanctions are imposed by US and EU and loans and assistance are cut off. Myanmar was drawn into the orbits of China influence. This is a great chance for China to shape a strategy to dominate the Bay of Bengal. China plans to build a giant industrial zone, a deep sea port for ships bringing oil from Middle East, and an 800-kilometer railway, a trade corridor in Indian Ocean across the Myanmar. Shui gas pipeline will start from Jiaoqiu to Kubin. Construction of these projects have already caused large-scale land confiscation. Many villagers have to face relocation from SEZ area. The fear for the impact of toxic waste and population from electrochemicals and metal industry is increasing. Rakhine people have no right to know the information about the projects. Environmental, social, and health impact assessments are never disclosed. Compensation for lands are partially paid, but corrupted officials squeeze and manipulated. On labor issue, project officials do not respect the international norms. Local laborers are not prioritized. They cannot get suitable wage in time. No medical service. The living quarters of local laborers are very dire and dirty comparing with the housing quarters of the Chinese workers who came from mainland. Minute job, just the drivers or workers from China. Protect of environment, human rights and livelihood of local people are out of consideration. People hope that zone will promote the development of Rakhine State, but so far it is becoming a real threat to Rakhine Coast. In situ, Kalen River multi-module project is building to implement the locust policy of India. It includes a highway from Mizoram to Rakhine State, dredging the Kalen River and building a seaport. This is a great bridge of Northeast India's landlocked state to Bay of Bengal. Just like China project, the fear and concerns are in the hearts of local peoples in both Rakhine. Both projects respect for environment, local peoples, and international norms on labor issues are always missing. India and China are maneuvering for their interests in the Bay of Bengal. The visit of President Obama has encouraged the democratization in Myanmar, and one of the other factors is to contain the Chinese influence in Myanmar, since they are lagging behind in China in the area of Bay of Bengal. Rakhine has been becoming the strategic geopolitical location for competition of the three giant nations, China, India, and US. RNDP welcomes investment, but does not want the Rakhine people to be victimized by their own resources without enjoying any benefit in this strategic canvas. Every power in this area have to respect every individual in Rakhine State. That is democracy. Third question is Rohingya. British introduced modern institutions and development started. The lands were recultivated, and when the Suez Canal was opened in 1869, agriculture became boom. For the expansions of cultivated area, manual laborers are greatly needed. Shigonian Bengalis can freely come to the Rakhine land as manual laborers. Their ships and industry are so fit for British. From a few hundreds, the number has steadily increased since they did not return to their homeland. In the last dynasty, small Muslim community have already existed. The British authority have great concern for this problem, and special investigation mission was formed in 1939. The team suggested restriction the immigration. However, due to the outbreak of war, the suggestion was not taken into action. In March 1942, Japanese army marched into Rakhine land and British had to retreat to India. British handed some of their weapons to Muslims. The communal violence erupted in Budri and Maundo. Thousands of Rakhine, including deputy commissioner were killed. Most of the villages were burned. After the independence, Muslims demanded separate states and started to revolt. In 1951, they held a conference. Rohingya are the descendants of these Muslims and illegal migrant people from Bangladesh. In the start of Mujahid insurgency, the Rohingya name was not used. They called themselves Rakhine Muslim. In local gazettes of British era, they are mentioned as Shigonian Bengalis, and the term Rohingya is not found in the British census. Rohingya is just a historically fabricated term to be an ethnic nationality and to realize an Islamic autonomy. They said that Rohingyas are native origin. A prominent scholar and expert of Rakhine history, Dr. Jack Lyder, commented that Rohingya is a name, not an ethnic category. Burmese government does not drive Rohingya as an ethnic identity. The successive government cannot handle the problem properly. Situation wasn't due to corruption of government officials, lack of rule of law, extreme powers border. These Muslims are sorrowfully not allowed to leave Rakhine State and to settle freely around Myanmar, which makes a great burden for the population of the Rakhine. When a Rakhine girl was raped and brutally killed by 3 Muslims, 10 Muslims were killed by mob in retaliation, and Muslim mobs in Maungdaw destroyed the property of Rakhine State. Then communal violence quickly spread to Situate. Terrible and sorrowful incident happens and great loss for both communities, which have been suffering from severe human rights abuse under the military regime. First round in June and second round in October was more fierce. Situation is very complicated that it is difficult to identify who are major culprits, who are key players, who get benefits. Rakhine's propaganda of mass media, human rights violations of the military regime, successful lobbying and advocacy, and strongly support of international organizations endorse good chance to hide the reflex of Rohingya. Rohingyas are natives and Rakhines are native and they have lived peacefully with the Muslim for a long time. Unexpectedly, communal violence erupted. It is hard to calm down. The handling of the problem by Rakhine State government demonstrates the weakness in power and capacity, so the conflicted community became real victim. Exiled Rohingya accused RNDP and Rakhine people for cooperating with the Burmese army to suppress them, and Burmese high-ranking officials suspect RNDP for instigations and involvement. At the first round violence, 2 things he told UNHCR Commissioner Antonio Guterres that Rohingyas are not ethnic people. The person qualified due to 1982 law, citizen law have to live under the care of UNHCR. They are allowed to leave the third country, will accept them. Rakhine people agree and appreciate the president's idea. Rakhine people like to grant citizenship for Rohingya. They can enjoy human rights fully, travel freely, settle in anywhere in Myanmar. The tension will become calm down, but hatreds and fears are still burning in their hearts. It will take time for peaceful coexistence. Humanitarian needs not only material but also mental and ethical assistance, comforting the wounded hearts and trauma healings are especially needed. Image of peaceful and beautiful Rakhine land is faded and economy is deteriorating gradually. Big loss for Rakhine peoples and Muslim community without enjoying the fruits of democracy in the democratic transition period. Conclusion. The journey has started. The speed of the train, the completeness for the journey will depend on the political will and dedication of the democratic leaders and people themselves. The reversible trend cannot be allowed. Thank you.